Hey, everybody. It is Kristen Smedley. I'm the author of Thriving Blind, but now I have a big goofy smile on my face because I also get to say I'm the author of What I Can Be Is Up to Me, the new children's book from Thriving Blind that is continuing the thriving mindset. But we are a little sick of having to convince everybody that's older about this. We are just going to go, as I say in a lot of the promo stuff, to the youngest sets of eyes and have them from the very beginning of their journeys see blindness differently. Because, and I'm smiling again because I got my buddy L.A. Williams in the Zoom room today, and we have so much fun here that I don't understand still when people will say, "Oh, blindness is so sad."
Yeah, well, I remember we went to the school and they were like, "Oh, what do you mean,
Yeah.
oh? What's the oh? There's no oh about it. This is great."
Wait, let's back up. Look, see, me and LA just jump in. So you all have to buckle your seatbelts because we're not easing in and we don't follow any of the typical video rules. We are just going to go for it. When we were in Florida, in the Tampa area, and we spoke to this elementary school, there were all these kids in this giant multi-purpose cafe gymatorium thing. And I was talking about, the Thriving Blind book and different things. And then LA comes on the microphone, so cool. And he's like, and I've been blind since I was born. And all of them went, oh, and then he turned that place
Change the
upside down,
paradigm. You gotta change the paradigm.
out. It was so, and by the end, they were cheering. They were absolutely cheering. And the best, which is the goal of everything we do here at Thriving Blind, they totally forgot that they were there to hear about blindness.
Yeah. It was cool stuff.
All right, so all right. So for the serious people in the crowd that want to know more about the book, okay, we'll calm down for a half a jill a second here and talk about this children's book. All right, LA, I got to tell you, when I met you last year and you were in the Succeed Without Sight Summit, I was like, the hairs were standing on top of my head because I'm like, oh, this guy gets it. The joy that comes from you, the excitement that you created in a virtual room that I had not seen. I had not experienced that on a Zoom, any webinar or whatever the heck these platforms are. I had not seen anything like it. Where does your joy and your genuine wanting to make other people feel as amazing as you do, where does that come from?
Wow, that's a great question. I think that it just comes from me being me. I think it's so important that, and I've learned about, law of attraction and all that different type of stuff. I come from playing music, right? And so in the world of music, it's about handling emotions, right? And so however you want someone to feel, you just, you want sad, you play some minor chords, right? You're looking for happy, you play some major chords, right? And so it's that being able to control emotion that always made me say, I want people to feel good, right? And that's how I feel, right? I want to be that instrument that rings at a vibrant note, a vibrant frequency, right? That helps other people around me feel great, right? Because what can you get bad out of that? Only good comes from good. So let's go at it. So I guess that's how I would answer that.
I love it. I love it. And I find myself every time we're done talking or hanging out, I actually want to follow you around in the jobs that you have, because I want to see you in action with, your part in this book is about being a leader and leading a company. And that is something that I know is foreign for a lot of people to consider, that somebody that is blind or low vision can be a CEO and lead tons of people and teach people how to be successful. I just keep cracking up because this is blowing so many minds. And to you and me, it's like, well, duh, it's just, regular. But I would love to follow you around and see you leading these other people. Talk a little bit about what the things are that you do with you've got Dealer Synergy that you're sitting at that office. What are some of the things that you've got going on?
So here at Dealer Synergy, we're an automotive training company. As I said, I've been doing music for a long time, so I'm kind of stamped into that industry. And outside of that, I have a financial brokerage that I help to run. So leadership is just one of those things that, it was thrust upon me at some times, but then at other times it was something that I went for. I had to grind for. Here at the Synergy, I literally started at the bottom, right? I'm the definition of that Drake song, right? I started at the bottom. Now I'm here. Started as an analyst, right? I wanted to be a trainer, but they started me off as an analyst, and I was like mad that I was an analyst. Like, who don't know who I am, right? And so I did what was necessary to grow into a trainer, and then I proved to be so valuable there. It was like, hey, can you show the other trainers how you're doing what you're doing? And I, began to do that. And then it was like, hey, well, you're developing all these programs. You want to be the vice president of training? Let's make you the vice president of training. And then my guy's like, you know what? You help out so much around the company. Forget the training. You're just the vice president, period, right? And so, and then when COVID hit, I was able to get some ownership in the company. So, I mean, that kind of stuff is just,
Mm.
I'm just involved. And so I know you didn't ask the question of how, but what I say is that in order to be valuable, like, everybody's like, I want to get paid more. I want to get paid some more. Okay, great. Well,
Mhm.
in order to get paid more, you got to do more for what you're paid for, right? You got to do more for what you're paid for. And then that's how you get paid more. That's how you grow into these leadership areas. I talked to the CEO, or the former CEO now, of AutoWeb, is a huge publicly traded company. And he said growing up, he just wanted to be useful, right? He just wanted to
Mm.
I just want to be of use to people. And so it doesn't matter that I can't see, right? I'm still of use to you, even if the simple fact that I hear stuff that you don't hear, right? I'm of use to you, right? And so because I'm of use to you, you want me around, you want me leading your people, you want me working with people. So that's how it goes.
Wow. Let me ask you this, because I've noticed this with especially with my boys, Michael and Mitchell, how they have some very unique, extremely unique skills, very high level skills that other kids their age don't have, and parts of their personality that I don't know that they would have those if they didn't have blindness. I feel like
Hmm.
it's a phenomenal part of the way they've experienced life that developed these
Hmm.
extraordinary skills. Do you think that that's at play with you also?
Yes, absolutely. And, a lot of people say, "How in the world?" I'm like so thankful. I'm like, "Yo, it's thank God I can't see, boy, because if I could, you know." And people say, "How can you say something like that?" Well, it's because think about it like this: if I don't have, everybody says, "Okay, when you don't have one sense, your other senses become stronger." I
Yeah.
don't know how true that really is. What I
Yeah.
really think is because I don't have one, I'm forced to use my others a lot more. It's almost like if you have a new mom, right? Her hearing might be a little bit stronger because she understands what the certain cries mean, a baby hungry cry versus a tired cry, right? But somebody who's not a mom be like, "But how can you tell the difference?" That's what people say stuff like that to us all the time. How can you tell the difference when you're touching that thing? How can you tell the difference when you're hearing that thing, tasting that thing? It's all because I'm forced to use it, right? I'm forced to get more. I have to collect, I have to suck more information out of the world with four senses where other people have five. So I'm just forced to use it more.
You know what, LA? I have never, and I've heard that a gajillion times about, oh, when you lose one sense, the others compensate. I've never heard it flipped like that, that you're just
Hmm.
forced to use them. And Michael has tried to explain that to me, and maybe just because I've been hearing him talk for 22 years, I block out some of what he says, but love you, buddy. But hey, there's a lot of talking that goes on. I haven't heard it that way. And I think that that is brilliant because it's true. I mean, you're Michael and you and Mitchell and everyone in this
Hmm.
book were born with a certain amount of hearing. It's not like
Hmm.
suddenly whoop, but yes, you're focused.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Michael says to
100%.
me all the time, he'll say, Mom, he will often say when I'm kind of freaking out or I can't hear what he's hearing or I can't feel
Hmm.
what especially when we went surfing, he's like,
Oh yeah.
close your eyes because you're so distracted. You'll
Yes.
feel he thought something was wrong with me that I could not feel the rhythm of the ocean and know when the wave was coming that I should ride. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I kept having the instructor tell me, and Michael figured it out. Well, he said, Mom, it's a rhythm. What is the matter with you?
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't know. I guess
That's
I'm the one
good.
with the
I like that.
disability.
Right. I like that. Cool.
All right.
Yeah, no,
So,
I definitely get the rhythm of things again. And see, I don't make me go super deep on them, Kristen, right? Because life itself has a rhythm, right? life itself has a rhythm. There are certain key things that happen and then they don't happen and then they happen and then they don't happen. And so you got to learn how to ride that wave of life, right? Most people don't. They miss it because they're not paying attention or because they're lulled to sleep by their everyday activity. So I ain't gonna go super deep on it. I ain't gonna break it down all the way down, but yeah, he's absolutely right. Just like the ocean, the entire world, the entire universe has a rhythm.
That's awesome. All right, let's switch gears so that we're not all kinds of deep. Let me ask you
Mhm.
this, and I probably should have had you think about this before, but you just get my brain firing on all cylinders. When you were growing up, so let me make sure that I'm right first. Blind since
Mhm.
birth or no?
Nope, I lost my sight at the age of 3. Actually, on my 3rd birthday, I had my 12th surgery and I lost my sight completely, right? And I always tell people, I don't say that to get any kind of pity or anything like that. I'm more so just sharing because, I was born with some measure of sight, right? They try to act like, they was trying to force me out of the hospital and everything. My dad said, well, how come his eyes are blue? They said, oh, let's check, right? And they said I was one of the first babies with glaucoma, but the point is that, I know what it's like to see. I know, I know my colors. I knew those by the time I was 1, right? So when
Hmm.
people describe things, I get it a little bit differently than maybe somebody. I sometimes feel bad when people are like, dang, I can't express to you. Somebody got a pink dress on and she certain brown color skin. You know what I'm saying? You can't imagine that, right? It's different for you. But yeah, so
Yeah.
absolutely. I lost my sight at 3.
So did you ever, once you lost your sight, and you're in school or having access to books, did you ever
Mhm.
have a book that had a character with blindness like you were experiencing?
That is a great question. I do not think so outside of the ones that were supposed to, like the Helen Kellers of the
Oh
world,
yeah.
right? You hit
Yeah.
6th grade, everybody got to read that, right? But not like, not like a fun, cool character like Alex in this daggone book, boy. I was like, yo, I like that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. I have to tell everybody that's watching because I forget that we're like other people are going to watch our conversation. I
Right.
read I read LA his section of the story in the book and it was so great. So he's like, yeah, yeah. And that's how I was
Yeah.
when I was wait, I'll tell you this too, LA. I went all summer to because I get so distracted here in my house, I need inspiration. I went all
Mhm.
summer on Wednesdays to Seagirt Beach over in Jersey. It's literally at 1 hour door to door from my house, and I would
Okay.
sit there for hours in the afternoon and just brainstorm how I wanted this book to go, and I wanted it to be fun, but I wanted it to be educated, like this whole big thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the day that I figured out the pivotal moment in the book where you find out that everybody is blind or low vision, I
Mhm.
figured it out. And I was by myself with all these people around, and I jumped out of my beach chair because it was driving me crazy for weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. And I'm
Light bulb.
announcing the words of the book on the beach to people that didn't know me.
Lovely. You know what I'm saying? That's how inspiration hits. You know what I'm saying? I love it.
Oh, I was so excited. And then I was working with my friend Tara she's in literacy and education and making
Mhm.
sure that every word was the meaning that we wanted to convey. I mean, this thing was like so much fun, but when all came together, and then when I talked to you that day about, I was like, give me some words that are fun. And you were like, look, it took me all summer to come up with about 7 for that one part. And you're like, boom, 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 with all these great words for it.
That's what we
My
do.
God, I love that you're in this book.
Love it. I thank you. I'm telling you, I feel like it's a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? Because people are like, oh, I'm an author. I'm an author. I'm in a children's book. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's so cool. Because first of all, I love kids. I love being able to influence people in a positive way, and especially I remember what it's like to be a kid. And I love books. I still love them. I'm still a big Audible fan and all that kind of good stuff.
Mhm.
So, man, I'm telling you, to be a character in a book is like it's one of those dream come trues that you didn't know you were dreaming about, but what I'm saying, it's that serious to me. It's kind of like I remember being in career day and I was like, I want to be one of those people that's up there. And when I got to do it, again, it was like a dream come true. So I feel the same way. I feel like I'm at career day, but this is like infinite, you know what I'm saying? So this is cool stuff. I love it.
You know what's so funny about you're saying about career day? I remember years ago when I first moved to Chicago, I got to go with one of my best friends to the Oprah show. And I'm
Hmm.
in the audience, right? And this woman, her job was to get everybody fired up and pumped up and
Yeah,
cheering before the show. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, I so want to do that. Then Oprah comes out and does her thing. And I was like, oh, I so
I want to do
want to
that,
do
right?
that.
Yeah, you get
I was
inspired,
like,
man.
I needed a nap by the time I was done with that show because I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, but that's I think that's why we get along so well, you and I. The energy, like we
Yeah,
really vibe off of good energy.
yeah. Besides the fact our birthdays are the same day, you know what I'm saying? That's
I
kind of cool
know.
too, you know?
Yeah. How about that? We find out when we're in Florida, we come out of this big thing with all these kids. We're fired up. We're walking out to the car and
Yeah.
find out we have the same birthday.
I'm like, that's awesome. It's so cool.
That was so, and it's so funny too, because you've always said since I forget who reached out to who first years ago, and then you're
Hmm.
like, you're just like my mom. You're just like my mom. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
How old is your
Yeah, no.
mom? And I'm like, okay.
That's
All
funny.
right, we're
Right.
about the same
No,
age.
because I saw you on Twitter. I saw because it was I don't know how your tweet got. I don't even know, but it was your TED talk was on Twitter, and I normally don't click on stuff, but I clicked on it, and then I watched the first little piece, and I said, I gotta find it. I went on YouTube and found it, and I think I just messaged you like, "Yo, this is awesome."
I think that
So
is what happened. I don't know.
yeah.
We've been talking for so long. I forget how it
Yeah.
all began, but I'm telling you, this journey with Thriving Blind Academy and this book has been nothing but one moment like that after the next.
Hmm.
It is like so divine intervention and epic timing. Well, they always say that. What do they say? It's not luck. It's when preparation meets opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
It's
I
all
think
about
we're at a
that
point
rhythm.
now where we're
Yeah,
at
that
like the
rhythm.
tipping point where people are ready. They're ready for a new
Let's
point of
go.
view.
Let's go. Let's do some paradigm shifting. That's what we call it in the, you know, hit you with some what you call CEO words and vice
Yeah.
president words.
Yeah, let's
Paradigm
keep it
shifting.
let's
You
keep
know.
it professional, throw in that stuff so we can hashtag it.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I love it.
All right, we got it before we wrap up because I promised you I wouldn't give you longer than 20 minutes, even though we could talk all day.
And we
You
could.
got to throw in the people that you've worked with in the music industry because those kids went crazy when you were dropping
Yeah.
some names that you worked with.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, and then everybody, my guy Sean Bradley always says, you know, he's the promoter, right? Because I don't really talk much about this, but I will say, some of the people that gave me my starts, right? I was able to record "Freakum Dress" for Beyonce. That was cool, real cool experience working with her. The person who really gave me my break though was Lil Wayne, because I had done this track for Katy Perry, and you know, everybody was like blah 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 blah, but Wayne hopped on it and did a remix of the Katy Perry's "I Kissed the Girl," and so because of that, it allowed me to work with pretty much any of these other names that I might say. Because without him, it wouldn't have been possible, right? Because usually
Wow.
it's so crazy. Because as an engineer, you know, you work on music and things like that. You're a producer, but nobody wants to hear your stuff until somebody else likes your stuff, and they're like, "Oh
Yep.
my gosh, that song is so awesome!" Hey, and I'm like, "I made that for you." That literally happened to me, right? But no, so I've worked with, you know, mostly anybody who really, I'll say from the year 2007 to maybe about 2014, I had my hands on so many key things. Now I've shifted. Now I'm more of a special projects type of person. So the
Hmm.
kids, like I did a track with Chris Brown. That was kind of fun. I did some stuff with Usher. I mean, a lot of people. That's what I'm saying.
That's
We could
cool.
talk about it for a long time. So.
You definitely up the cool factor of the book. I'm telling you,
Well, I appreciate
I'm
it.
like, oh, I hang out with LA. Look at this. He hangs out with those people. We've got this little children's book that's going to change the
Hmm.
world and
Yeah,
drop names like Beyonce and Katy
yeah.
Perry. Oh, you live a cool life. This is what I love. This is exactly why I wanted to do this quick interview so that people watching this, what I want everyone to understand is this book flips the attitudes, the biases, everything about blindness upside down and inside out. This
Yeah.
Zoom room is the most fun ever talking about living with vision loss. It is not the sad story that's been in the world all these years. We're changing that
Mm-mm.
story. We're tired of it. We're
Yeah,
having a good
absolutely.
time.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I just, first of all, like I said, it's literally an honor to be a part of something like this. And, I share with my team, that this is something that I was doing. They're actually on a client meeting right now. And I'm like, guys, y'all gonna have to handle this by yourselves. I'll be back. Right? I'm gonna go do this interview. I'm gonna work with Kristen for a little bit. But, I told them about me being in the book, and everybody's like, yo, that's cool, right? And I don't know how other people perceive being a character in the book, but it seems like that people are enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying being in it. So I'm excited. I can't wait to share it. Can't wait to tell everybody about it. Can't wait to help folks sponsor it. Whatever is needed. You know what I'm
I
saying?
love
That's how
it.
we go.
Well, to that point, and then I promise we will land the plane, but you brought something up that I don't know if you and I have had a conversation about this since it all started happening.
Mhm.
My daughter is very upset that I decided to take this mission to TikTok, and I'm having a lot of success. She is like, get off of TikTok. It's bad enough you're on
That's funny.
Instagram. However, what I wanted to bring up was, some of the things that you just said. I get so many comments on my posts now about the book and the things that I've encouraged my boys to do.
Mhm.
I get so many comments from young adults that are blind that did not have support growing up. They did
Yeah.
not have anyone believing in them. And honestly, LA, at night, I can't read the comments anymore because they sit on my brain all night long. And I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
we got to do more. We got to do more. We got to do more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But there are a lot of people, young people, especially out there, that are so grateful. This is what I love about them. They had
Mhm.
to forge their own way because nobody believed in them. However,
Yeah.
they are celebrating this project because they know that other kids are not going to go through that. Isn't that
Yeah.
cool?
Yes, absolutely. I'm telling you, because I don't know where I would be if my parents were older. I'm gonna just say it like that because
Mhm.
my mom had me. She was 19. My dad was 21. Literally, they said that they were too young to know to treat me with any difference. Right? I got an older
Wow.
sister. You see what I'm saying? They were like, we didn't know what to do, right? And so my mom tells a story about how my grandmother and them, we had this argument, right, about how the forks and spoons and knives and stuff, and how I'm like, they're like, oh, you got to face him down so that boy so nothing don't happen to him, and I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. You should face the forks and spoons upward. That way, I don't have to touch everything just to figure out what's what. I can easily get to what I need to. And she was
Mhm.
like, my mom said she was confused by that for a long time. And she's like, well, why would I listen to them? He know what he need, right? So again, my parents were too young to know the baby me. If they were a little older, they would have had to, make sure you don't buy that boy no bike, don't buy that boy no video games, don't buy that. What? I need all that, you know what I'm saying? So
Awesome.
absolutely.
I love that perspective because people think that young parents don't know what they're doing, and that can be a very good
It's
thing
a blessing.
a lot of the
Absolutely. It's good to
times.
not know what you're doing. Yep.
I
100%.
mean, I was in my late 20s and thought I had it all figured out. I was a teacher, for heaven's sake. And then I was like, oh, but I'll tell you what, that's what set me back. Cause I, to this day, I do try new things all the time now because I realize one of my biggest burdens that I put on myself in my life is I don't like to do things I'm not good at. I sit on the sidelines if
Mm.
I'm not good at it, which is no way to go
Hmm.
through life. So when Michael was diagnosed and I was only 27 and a half, I guess,
Hmm.
I had no idea, no information. So I sat on the sidelines, and it was him at 3 years old that was like, hey, I got some stuff I got to do. Like, get
Right.
up. Here we go. I'll help you
Impactful,
figure
man.
this
I'm
out. He
telling you.
was so little. And I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, then. He's very
That's a great
persuasive.
story. You gotta lie. And ain't nothing changed since then.
I know, right?
So,
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm actually going to see him this weekend in Orlando. I can't
ooh,
wait. He's got me
nice.
a park hopper passes. I'm like,
Okay.
oh boy, we're
Okay.
going
Let's
everywhere.
go. I know, right? We actually just came back from Maryland. Last time you said you was going to Florida, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna be in Florida too," but that's
I know.
fine.
That's right. I'm like,
It
I'll
works
pick you
out.
up and drive you to Tampa. It's an hour and a half. You're
Let's
like,
go.
I'm in.
Let's go. Right.
All right. That is so
I'm so
awesome.
down. Absolutely. I'm just that kind of person though. I mean, literally, if there's an opportunity to do something to help somebody else, like when we went to go talk to those kids and things like that, I'm telling you, I'm all the way in. So if anyone, needs me for anything, Kristen can she'll probably tag me in whatever contact information. I don't know, whatever you want to do, Kristen. Get the people because I'm definitely willing to help and I want to help.
Actually, I'm glad to hear you say that because, and I know that you're like that. We're
Yeah.
developing a new addition to the academy, by the way, for the new year. Once a month in our Monday mentorships, we're going to have somebody like you come in and do a whole thing talking about, all these different things and have people ask questions so that we're getting more of focused mentorship. Because I know the funny thing is when you have mentors in Thriving Blind Academy, it's like trying to be able to fit in all of your busy schedules. I think it's hilarious because 22
Yeah.
years ago, I thought, what is a blind person really going to be able to do? And now I can't nail all you people down. You're so
Right.
busy. So it's the funniest thing in the world. This is why my daughter thinks I'm nuts, because I'm hysterically laughing the other day. I'm like, I cannot get their schedules straight because they're
Yeah.
all so thriving. They're making me crazy. I
Got
love it.
you.
I love it.
Love it.
Thank you for taking
Awesome.
the time today from all the cool
100%.
stuff you have going on. Where can people check you out? What's the best spot for them to look you up?
Oh, goodness gracious. So I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, LA Williams. You can find me on Twitter at Dubs Club. On Instagram, I am the Against All Odds radio show. So I got a podcast called the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. Of course, I'm working with Thriving Blind Academy. So listen, I should be findable. I should be real
I'll put the
findable.
links in for where we all the platforms that we put this on. And hey, behind
Okay.
me now we've got the What I Can Be Is Up to Me book.
Woo!
It's the
Yes.
mock-up of the book because we're in production. Go to thrivingblindacademy.org/children's book, or go right to Kickstarter and search it and back this thing, because I think we're at 60% of the goal now, and we are going to get this thing in production and out
We
into
need
the
to be at
world.
100. We need to be at 160% of the goal. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Like, first of all, let me put my arms around all the characters that you have in here, man, because I know you got some daggone rock stars, right? So trust and believe, it is an honor for me to be like alongside of them, because you told me about some of those folks, and I'm like, man, they big time. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate getting a chance to be a part of that. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you feel like, the world does not have to continue the way it's always been, if there's anything in the world that you want to change, I don't care if it has to do with blindness or anything. If you want to change folks' lives financially, you should back this book. If you want to change, animal cruelty and all that stuff, you should back this book. Because why? Because this book is all about changing. It's all about shifting the paradigm of human beings. And especially if we can do it at a young age, right? What if, let me go there real quick. What if, right, some people weren't taught to hate another certain type of person when they were younger, when they were in first and second grade? What if they didn't grow up with that mindset? The world, we all know, will be a much better place. And so that's why I'm encouraging every single person to go ahead and back this book, because you have no idea the impact that you'd be making by making sure that people know that change is available and good in this world.
Amazing. I love it. I love that you're a part of this. I love that the universe brought us together, and we are so changing the world. LA, thanks for everything, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Make sure you get in on that Kickstarter. 160%. LA,
Let's
put
go.
it out there. Let's go. See y'all next time.